Hi, my name is Tiare Kahana, and this video is of the ABCs that I teach during my yoga practices. A is for the awareness of alignment, B is for balanced breathing, and C is for being calm and centered. So if you can absorb and meditate on what I'm going to teach you and incorporate it not just into your yoga practice, but in the way that you live your life on a day-to-day basis, moment to moment. Weave these principles into your daily life, and you will feel so much more energized, and you're also nurturing your body for overall well-being. Okay, let us begin. So the awareness of alignment, we're talking about posture. Okay, so actually I am going to teach this in the order of what's called the chakras. So I don't mean to get all woo-woo on you. The chakra system is actually a system that is recognized and practiced by so many indigenous cultures all over the world. China, India, American Indians, South America, and so forth. So this is a universal, based on a universal principle of acknowledging how our bodies function as a part of nature. And there are the different elements of nature and the way that it harmonizes with the universe, and it applies to our human bodies. Okay, so we're going to start with the root chakra. The root chakra is primarily at the base of your spine. It also extends down to the bottoms of the soles of our feet and the palms of our hands. And this is how we make our connection with Mother Earth. Okay, so pay attention to the way that your feet make contact with the earth. Notice how your sitting bones make contact with the seat of your chair. And in some cases, depending on what yoga posture we're in, you would be paying attention to how the palms of your hands and even your fingers press into the floor. Okay, so but just basic sitting posture. So I'm sitting on an office chair because as teachers or office workers, this is the type of chair that you'll be in most of the day. So I'm going to use a chair that you're familiar with. However, when you're doing a yoga practice, a sturdy four-legged chair is best. So I want to preface this again that I'm demonstrating using an office chair because this is intended for workplace yoga, teachers and office workers. All right, so bring your awareness, there's that letter A, awareness to your sitting bones. And that's the pointiest parts of your bottom. Okay, so this is the way we want to be seated. Always sitting with your sitting bones making contact with the seat of your chair. When we are not being mindful, we are sitting usually not on our sitting bones, but on the fleshier part of our bottom, and there goes the posture of our spine. Now we have this curved spine, really bad for our back and our neck, as you can see. So sitting bones, sitting up and on your sitting bones. So one of the examples that I use when I teach this is to think of your the charging block for your cell phones and your gadgets there. that, you know, you want to plug the two prongs of the charging block, right? You want to plug that in to make contact with the energy source. So think of these two sitting bones as the prongs of your charging block. You want to plug straight down into Mother Earth, the source of our energy, okay? And then the same with our feet. So when you are sitting at your chair, you do want to be able to have your feet firmly on the floor. If you need to bring yoga blocks to work and stick them under your desk so that you can put your feet on them, that is great too. So having your feet firmly on the floor. Ideally, if your knees could be slightly lower than your hips, and it's a good thing I have this stripe on my pants today so you could see the slight angle. So as opposed to it being level, which is not awful, but you definitely don't want your knees higher. And this also applies to your posture in your car. We spend a lot of time in our cars driving. So like I mentioned, these things that I'm going to teach you are things that you can apply in your daily lives. So raise the level of the seat of your car so that you have this angle. And I'll tell you the reason. If your knee is higher than your hips, you're obstructing blood circulation. So all of a sudden your blood is going to be pooling, P-O-O-L, pooling or collecting all in this area here and is not able to flow freely so that you have energy, right? So when you're in your car and you're sitting like this, or maybe your seat's lower, so you're setting yourself up for a lot of exhaustion and aggravation, because when there's lack of oxygen going to your brain, you're going to be short-tempered, stressed out, and tired. So yoga is providing you with all the opposite energy and really good feelings here. Okay, so you want to have your knees kind of and we're going to talk about, there's 45-degree angles and 90-degree angles. So I'm keeping this very basic, but detailed, but anyway, so a 90-degree here if possible. So it's just little things to be aware of if you want optimal health and well-being. And then here we go, another 90-degree angle with your hips, okay? So we also want to have your ears over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips. Okay, and in this case, I have my knees over my heels. And if I were to be standing, the same would apply. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over knees, and then knees over heels. So when you're standing in line, you can even see how my line just, all of a sudden became a zigzag. And if you're a lady and you have a pocketbook, so you have your pocketbook, or just think about your students with their backpacks, okay? So the straight line here, and then the nice, you're going to have two straight lines from your ear to your hips, and then from your knees to your ankles when you're sitting, okay? So that's the alignment when we are sitting, so paying attention to our root chakra. And there's a phrase that I use, root down to rise up. Root down to rise up. So it's like thinking of a big, what is it called? A super ball. Is it a super ball? The bouncy ball. So when you throw the ball down, automatically it bounces back up. So it's kind of like the same with our energy. So we root down and then we'll have the reciprocal energy flow upwards through our body. So we could use that or bring awareness to that when you root down, you'll also feel the energy rise. Okay. So now we have our center of gravity here. We're moving up to the second chakra, which is our sacral chakra. So it's right below the navel. And there are colors that correspond to the different chakras. So going back to the first chakra, the root chakra, that is the color red, which is the color of the earth. So if you think of earth as, you know, clay, so think of red clay, so the red earth. The second chakra is orange. And I like to connect that. I always visualize the color of a sunset, the sun setting over an ocean, okay? Because actually the element here is water. So we have the earth chakra, and then this is our water chakra on the second chakra. But the color is orange. So I love that image of the beautiful orange glow over the blue water, okay? So this is our center of gravity, and this is also an area where we get a lot of low back pain, right? Low back pain here. So the second chakra here is also where we carry a lot of emotions. It flows also into our hip area. So we want to have a lot of stability here, because again, we want our emotions to be stable. Also being the water element, there's a lot of flowing and flexibility, and also fun. Our fun and passion also is located in this area. And so we want a lot of give and take and go with the flow. So there's a lot going on here that you have to be that you should pay attention to. So again, poor posture, what are we doing? We're also obstructing. It's like kinking a water hose. You're just, you know, stopping the flow of energy flowing through that part of our body, okay? So to engage stability in this area, imagine the color red, that's our root chakra, and the color orange, okay? So what we're going to do is engage the red chakra. So it's a matter of like doing a Kegel exercise where you engage the root chakra and imagine pulling the red chakra upward, and then imagine the color orange here, like the orange fruit right at your navel. Think navel orange, okay? And then you're gonna pull, like you're gonna contract your abdominals or exhale, pull your navel in towards your spine. So what you're doing is you're bringing the orange sphere inward, and you're gonna bring the red sphere upward, and you're going to connect them, okay? And that's a nice way, if you can imagine that. Pull the orange in, and red comes up, and then you'll feel a lot of stability here. And this is very useful for protecting your lower back and during balance postures, okay? So go ahead and engage that Kegel exercise, the Kegel muscle, down in the pelvic region, and pull upward, and then pull the navel inward at the same time. All right, so we could do a whole class on that, but I'm going to move forward. So we're going to engage that for balance and stability. The next one is our solar plexus, and that's the color yellow for obvious reasons. Solar is the sun, and this is where we allow ourselves to really shine, if you think of it that way. This is our center of confidence, willpower, strength, and being bold. So again, when you have poor posture, you know, a shy person, a person that's not very confident, their solar chakra is like all covered up and also blocked. So, you know, a lot of these things make perfect sense. So if you want to instill confidence in yourself and your students, make sure that their solar plexus and your solar plexus is in the right position. So the solar plexus is kind of housed in the rib cage area. So you want your rib cage positioned over your hips. okay? And not caved over, but aligned, you know, kind of like a barrel straight over your hips, and therefore able to shine forward. And then the next chakra is our heart chakra. So of course our heart is located on the left side, but we refer to our heart center, okay? And that is the color green. And I would always think that, you know, you would always think of a heart being red. But in this case, the heart chakra is represented by the color green. And the green is the symbol for life, right? So when, you know, you show someone crawling through the desert and all of a sudden they see green, and it's a green oasis, which means life, right? Life and trees and everything, okay? So there are 7 chakras, and the heart chakra is the chakra right in the middle. So it joins the upper chakras with the lower chakras, okay? So the lower chakras have everything to do with autonomy, with ourselves. And then our upper chakras have to do with how we relate to others, and how what we project into the world. Okay, so the lower chakras are inward, and the upper chakras are outward, but the heart connects it all, your heart space. So again, this is, you know, about love, self-love first in order to project love out. The next chakra is our throat chakra, and the throat chakra is, you know, the area of your neck and shoulders, and it also includes your mouth and your ears. So from your ears down to your shoulders. And this chakra is about communication, about your authenticity and speaking your truth. And so if you have a lot of tension here, it could be because you do not feel like you're being heard, or you don't feel like you're being understood. So I'm sure we all have moments of feeling that way, or are affected by deficiencies in that area. So that's what this is all about. And also the neck is the bridge between our heart and our mind. There's a lot going on in our mind. Our brain is always thinking, you know, positive, negative, undecided, or complicated. And then we have all of these emotions that we are translated in our heart, and everything passes through our neck and throat area. So talk about neck pain and shoulder, you know, our shoulders get tense. So this is where we need to pay attention. And then we have our third eye chakra, which is the area between your eyebrows, and it's our prefrontal cortex. Okay, so this is like we also think of it as the watchdog. Our watchdog resides here and is keeping its eye out for danger, and our fight-flight response. The decisions happen right here in our prefrontal cortex. So with our third eye center, being aware of taming our watchdog, that you know, being late, a couple of minutes late is not the same as being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. And in our modern life, you know, we don't know the difference, and so our body is always triggered by the littlest thing, but our body's responding as if our lives are in danger. And that's why we're stressed out, and stress is the cause of many, many illnesses, okay, because it breaks down our immune system. And then last is our crown chakra, and the crown chakra connects us with infinite wisdom, and it's you know, our connection with the universe, and you know, our spirituality, and it has nothing to, it does not have it does not have to be religious, but just believing and recognizing a higher being or life force that you know, or the creator of our earth and the planets and so forth. So if you'd like to think of our bodies or the chakra system as the colors of a rainbow, and in Hawaiian philosophy, and in many other indigenous cultures, you have Mother Earth and Father Sky, and everything in between are their children. And that includes our human physical bodies. So we are a connection between heaven and earth. So that is my introduction to the chakras, the energy centers of our bodies, and what we want to pay attention to when we move throughout our day. So I talked about alignment and the awareness of our alignment. And now I'll talk about B. B is for balanced breathing. Balanced breathing. So let us begin by placing one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart, and just quiet your mind and focus inward and focus on your breath right now. And just notice how you are breathing without judgment. Just notice. Is your chest moving more than your belly? Or is your belly moving more than your chest? Just notice. Or maybe it's equal. Is your breath shallow? Or are you taking deep breaths? Is the pace of your breath even? Or is your inhalation longer than your exhalation, or vice versa? Okay. So go ahead and bring your hands back down to your laps. Before we get into the rest of our breathing, I'd like for you to practice. This is my very favorite yoga posture. So this is considered, I consider it a yoga posture. And I learned this from the Tibetan Buddhist master Thich Nhat Hanh. And it's called the inner smile. And the inner smile serves many purposes. I'll show you what to do first. What you're going to do is relax your jaw and unclench your teeth. And now place the tip of your tongue behind your upper two front teeth and gently close your lips. Okay, so you're not clenching your teeth. Let there be a space between your upper and lower teeth. Tip of your tongue is resting behind your upper two front teeth. And try to let your tongue be relaxed there. I know it's kind of awkward at first, but as you get used to it, the tongue will soften. And let your lips be soft. And just breathe. So the curve that you've formed with your tongue is your inner smile. So by lowering your tongue to the bottom of your mouth and just the tip coming up in front, you've created more space in your mouth to take in more oxygen. Okay, so that's one. And two, this is an exercise in mindfulness so that you do not clench your teeth. Okay, so when we are not being mindful and when we are stressed out, chances are we're clenching our teeth, and chances are your tongue, your entire tongue is pressed up against the roof of your mouth. Okay, so I'd like for you to just purposely do that. Go ahead and clench your teeth and allow your tongue to be flat, and then press the entire tongue up against the roof of your mouth and breathe. I don't know if any of you grunted or snorted. And actually breathing this way is probably what causes snoring at night. So now return to your inner smile. Relax your jaw, unclench your teeth, place the tip of your tongue behind your two front teeth, and now breathe. And notice the difference. Okay? So having an inner smile is going to help increase the intake of oxygen. Also, when you point, the tip of your tongue is pointing upward, it's also pointing towards your third eye center, which again, this is an exercise in mindfulness, and it's a reminder to connect with your inner wisdom, as opposed to being influenced by, outside opinions and letting those things have more influence on your thoughts and reactions. Go inward. Okay, so this exercise, this posture brings awareness to your third eye center. Trust your own intuition and inner wisdom. And also in Chinese medicine, there's the meridian system, and there's the first meridian that runs up the back of your spine and comes up and over your head and ends here at the third eye center. And then the second meridian is in the throat and moves down the front of the body and down under your seat. And so by connecting your tongue to the roof of your mouth, you're creating a nice connection between the first and second meridian. Is that cool? And then my favorite part of this inner smile is that when you do smile, and I want to say that even, by creating this inner smile, you're engaging muscles that move in an upward direction. And so when we do an actual smile in our face, we are engaging hundreds of muscles in our face. And when we engage these muscles in our face, it actually sends happy hormones to our brains. And it's impossible to be angry or upset when you are smiling. I love to do that exercise with the kids, and I have everybody smiling, and then I tell them, try to think of something that makes you mad and stay mad, and with all the children smiling, it's really cute. They're like, I can't do it. So a smile, I want to say a smile can cure almost anything. As teachers, I know there are, you have many, many moments and of challenge. And if you can manage to have this inner smile and practice it until it becomes a habit. I have practiced it, and I want to say that about at least 90% of the time, I have an inner smile. Sometimes I'll be driving and I'll be at a stoplight and I'll notice that, oh, I'm automatically I have an inner smile. That way you are always prepared to respond in a positive way as opposed to just reacting. Okay, so if your posture is if you're already clenched and you're breathing in a shallow way, you're already in a defensive posture. You're shallow breathing is kind of like expecting, something to happen. Clenched teeth is like you're ready to and so something happens and you're just going to react in that way. Where if you are breathing calmly, you have an inner smile, you have happy hormones, and something frustrating happens, you're like, all right, we got this. And trust me, it really, really does work. All right, next, my notes here, inner smile, Diarga breath. Okay, so everybody engage that inner smile. Return your hand to your belly and chest again. and just breathe. The 2-part breath, actually it's a 3-part breath, where you're going to take the breath in 3 parts. You're going to inhale and then just kind of follow the flow of your breath. First, it makes your chest rise. Continue to bring the breath down and then feel the rib cage expand. And then continue to bring the breath in and then feel your belly move forward. And that's your 3 parts. And you're going to exhale in 3 parts. The belly draws in, rib cage draws in, and the chest lowers, emptying your lungs. Inhale to fill the lung, starting from the top, from the chest, then the rib cage, and then the belly moves forward. Exhale in 3 parts, belly in, rib cage, and chest. So we're not breathing air into our abdominals. The reason the belly moves forward is because we have our lungs are up here. So when our lung expands, it pushes down on the diaphragm muscle, which separates our lungs from the abdominals. And so by pushing down on the diaphragm, that's what sends the abdominals out. So unless our lungs are full, so this is what's called diaphragmatic breathing, deeper breathing to fill the lungs all the way to the bottom in order to press on the diaphragm. Okay, the opposite of diaphragmatic breathing would be shallow breathing, where we are only breathing into the top 1/3 of our lungs. Shallow breathing, we're only breathing into the top 1/3 of our lungs. And without this awareness, this is what we do on a daily basis. And that's why we have fatigue and we get tired and we're short-tempered and our bodies are not able to release stress and tension. Okay, so practice the 3-part breath, and again, maintaining your nice upright posture. When you do not have this upright posture, think of our lungs as balloons, and all of a sudden the balloon is squished and we're not able to take in enough oxygen unless we sit upright and we allow the space for the lungs to expand fully. Okay, it all comes together. Let's see, then we have an Ujjayi breath. The Ujjayi breath makes the sound of the ocean. It also makes the sound of Darth Vader breathing. So it's either ocean breath or Darth Vader breath when I'm teaching children, but it's actually called the Ujjayi breath. And this is a really good breath for deep relaxation. So what it is just making your throat, constricting the throat a little bit gently. And what it does is it warms the breath as it enters your throat, purifying the breath, and then it's able to direct the breath to your different chakras. So you don't have to think about that. It automatically does it. So begin by pretending that you're going to fog up a mirror. So pretend you have a mirror in your hand. That's all it is. That's the exhalation. Now draw the breath in the same way. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. So that's with that invisible mirror, and that's your Ujjayi breath. And you can do this breath with your lip closed. And this is where it sounds like Darth Vader. Also sounds like the ocean, doesn't it? So by making your breath audible, it gives you a focal point to focus on your breathing, okay? So it helps to settle your mind and give your mind a focal point to focus on your breathing. And again, it channels your breath more directly to your chakra centers, and it warms and purifies the breath as it enters your body. The next is a 4 square breath. This is a good one, a good exercise to kind of calm down. And you think of, breathing in a square. So you inhale and you pause, exhale, pause, inhale, pause, and exhale, and pause. So that's our 4 square breath. And then this is a fun one to do with the kids, a high 5 breath where you trace your hand. So you breathe in as you come up to the tip of your finger, and breathe out as you flow down. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, and breathe out. So their hand can be on the desk and they can trace their hand. Their hand can be on their lap and they can trace their hand. Or they could do it in their mind. So you could always ask your students, do we need to take 5? And, take your nice 5 long breaths. Let's see. And then a Qigong breath called the Shi, Shi, Hu. So imagine having a sphere of energy here, an invisible sphere of energy, or a chi. And you're going to take 2 inhalations, which inflates this ball of energy, and then exhale. Inhale, inhale, and exhale. So the exercise, you can, say it quietly to yourself or silently to yourself. It's Shi, Shi, Hu. Shi, Shi, Hu. And again, Shi, Shi, Hu. And one more time, Shi, Shi, Hu. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Inhaling through your nose takes in the air and sends it directly to the brain. So that's the advantage of breathing through your nostrils whenever possible, okay? That's the Shi, Shi, Hu. And there's so many different breathing exercises. Breath work in yogic terms is called pranayama. Prana is life force energy that is carried through our breath. And so breath work is pranayama. And so when we do our yoga postures, I like to teach in terms of using the inhalation like a yawn. So everybody, let's do that. Inhale, take a big yawn. Inhale the way you would yawn. And what you're doing is you're lengthening your spine as you take in the energy. Keep the spine long. And then exhale like a sigh of relief. And let all of the muscles around your bones soften. Your bone still supports your spine in that upright posture, but let your muscles soften around the bones. Again, inhale, lengthen the spine, fill your body with energy and breath. Keep the spine long, keep the spine and the body upright, soften the muscles, sigh of relief. So that's it. Those are the basics of balanced breathing, and then being calm and centered. So by having the proper alignment and combined with balanced breathing, your body is going to be able to maintain a sense of calm and ease. And that is the way yoga should be practiced. And I think that is the way that life should be enjoyed. Life should be enjoyed with calm and ease. So that's why I encourage you to keep all of these principles in mind for your everyday living. So being calm and centered, being aware of the left foot, right hand, left hand, right shoulder, left shoulder. When you're standing, your right hip or left hip, and kind of you want balance. And also balanced in your mind, balanced energy. And that's what yoga does. It balances our energies. So we have to, going back to the elements, we have the sun and the moon. So we have the sun energy, which rises up the right side of our body, and the lunar energy, which travels down on the left side of our body. So we don't want too much up energy, then we would be hyper. And then we don't want too much of the moon energy, because then we would be depressed. So the practice of yoga is to balance these two energies so that we have just the right amount of both. Well, I hope that this video was helpful, and now you'll have a better understanding as we practice in the next video. Thank you so much. Aloha and namaste.